was maybe 12 people that had caught on, and then I thought he was trying to make me laugh because I was completely out of control. And I punched him in the chest, and I forgot he had his microphone on, so I hit his microphone. And then he left me, and I'm there all alone on the stage to sing this love song, and I was hysterical during the entire love song. It's one of those things, it's like a nightmare. You think, I've got to get out of this, I've got to control myself.
You do, you dread it terribly, but then the audience, you know, they love it. I think they're so supportive and so with you. My worst experiences like that was opening night in London at this beautiful theater. I was there for a week, and I had a full orchestra with me. And my opening song, my band and I all played in A flat, and the band, the whole orchestra, which all came in right at the downbeat, were playing in the key of A. And this first chord that hit was such a horrendous thing that you can't imagine, and it was impossible to go on. And I had to stop and say, oh, and explain to the audience, you know, what had happened, and they were all right there for me, and I said, pretty soon as they say in the recording studio, take two, and we started again, and, you know, I was mortified. But they loved it, and the show went on from there.
The audience really does like it. That's one of the things when we were doing Mork and Mindy, you could get away with it because they'd just cut. But the pressure was on when you'd walk through that door and the show was beginning, because it was done like a play in front of an audience like this, or even a little larger. Who was going to screw up first? Yeah. And once somebody did, it just broke the ice. But it wasn't live. When it's live, I'd heard during Pirates, Linda Ronstadt used to crack up all the time on stage. And there was one time during...
She giggles a lot.
She giggles constantly. And during the big aria in the beginning, she became... It's her first song. She makes her entrance, and she was hysterical. They made her come out after intermission and apologize to the audience and sing it after intermission.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how bad it got.
So was the audience upset, or they...
No, well, I don't know. It was just one of those things. I mean, it's the song, it is the song of the whole show, and if you don't do it, you really should do it sometime.
I suppose, I guess.
So.
When you got the part in Mork and Mindy, did you not know you read it in the trade?
Yeah, it was...
The trade magazines they have, people know what trades are? The trade magazines that they have in Hollywood, they have the record business, they have in the rodeos, they have... So you read it?
Yeah, it was really one of those things, once again. I had a deal with ABC. I had a development deal where they liked me. I had auditioned for some things for them earlier, and though I didn't get them, they liked me, and they wanted to put me in something. So I had a deal where they pay you some money, and then you're with them for a year, and they send you scripts. And if you like them, and if you audition, then you get it. Well, I had been sent scripts for over a year, and I didn't like any of them. I didn't want to do it. And plus, I had just done my first feature film, so I was going to be a movie star. I didn't need television.
What was your feature film?
Oh, it was A Wedding by Robert Altman.
Oh, I know that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, that's always every actor's dream is, hey, you want to be a movie star. You know, TV used to be the thing that it's nice to do, but if you can be a movie star, let's be a movie star. So anyway,
I wanted to be a movie star. I was in a movie once that did pretty well, but boy, it just all disappeared after that.
That's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, I mean, it's like that, isn't it?
Just like that. Boy, it comes and it goes.
Yeah,
what was it like working with Robin Williams?
Oh, it was great. It was...
Is he like that
he's like
all
that,
the time?
Well, he's calmer now. He has
now?
a baby, and, you know, he's settled down. But not working with Robin makes me even appreciate it more, and I've always appreciated it. But there's nothing like getting up and going. I would love to go to work every morning because we had so many bizarre people in our show, even the people that worked backstage. You laughed from the moment you got there until you went home. And also for me, because it was my first series, I didn't know what I was doing. So I really learned comedy and timing from Robin and then the other comedians that would come in.
Yeah.
And that last year with Jonathan Winters and Robin was just not very believed.
That must, and so was it going on constantly?
Constantly going on. I mean, I can't even describe to people what it was like. You'd have one wandering off. We'd be in the middle of a scene, doing a scene. And
rehearsing or actually filming it?
Filming it, and Robin would be looking up into the audience, and Jonathan would go wander. I'd have a hold of Jonathan's coat to hold him or to lead him from one place to the other. They're both such geniuses, but their minds, it's real hard to, say, Robin.
And get it over here and keep it here for a minute.
That's right. We're having a conversation. Don't look at the audience.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was just crazy.
Were you the solid one in that bunch? Did you keep it all
I
together?
was the mother.
The mother?
Yeah, they used to call me Sister St. Mary Patience. Because truly it was these two very crazy, brilliant men, and putting them in the same show together was just not to be believed. We tried to get a documentary film crew in there just to film a week of putting together Mork and Mindy, because there were such moments of brilliance and improvisation.
That never got seen.
No, that never got seen. So it was a wonderful experience.
I would love to have been part of that.
Yeah.
We'll return, folks, right after this commercial break.
I keep making more money.
What am I going to do now? Yes. You can't believe how fast the time passes up here when you're doing this, so I want to introduce my other guest, if I may. He's probably best known as Tony Banta, the young boxer who could never win a fight on the really great comedy series Taxi. And he's just finished filming a movie with Burt Reynolds called Cannonball 2. So would you please welcome Mr. Tony Danza. Well, I'm glad somebody else is casual. You know,
Oh,
I
God, I
appreciate
made it.
So what? Made it to here, you mean?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's pretty great.
It's real great.
Congratulations. It was, you know, I remember the first time I was on the Tonight Show, and I remember the first time I hosted the Tonight Show, and I was so thrilled about it. And it's one of those things, truly, that you dream of. And I said, far out, 29 times in an hour and a half or something like that.
Well, if I say far out, stop me.
Okay, if I say it, stop me. What's it like working with Burt Reynolds?
It's just like you think it'd be, you know.
Is it fun, easy going, light?
It's fun, easy going in life, but you're doing, you know, your work. And,
He's a professional.
yeah, he's a professional, but, you know, he's also like a swashbuckler, you know. He jumps off the roof, tells a joke. He goes through the car window, he tells a joke. It's like, and, you know, it's great to see Burt doing that stuff, you know. It's like an inspiration.
Yeah? Did you do any of that stuff?
Yeah, I did. I knocked out a few guys. It was fun. I'll tell you the truth, though. You know, I'm in the movie with Mel Tillis and a monkey and an orangutan. And
The Burt Reynolds movie?
yeah. Well, it's from California. Yeah, well, it's not that monkey, but it's of that family. Cal Worthington is Mel Tillis and my uncle.
Cal Worthington?
Yeah. This is a weird movie. I'm telling you. And Cal Worthington's dog's name's Spot, you see.
Maybe there's still hope for me. I can get back in there.
The funny part is I did 3 movies in my life. Go ahead, give it to him. Oh, boy, do I miss Paramount.
I know.
Anyway,
This is your third movie?
third movie. I did 3 movies. I did a movie called Hollywood Nights. I'm sure a lot of you saw it. Hey, all right.
Hollywood Nights?
Yeah, oh, big. I did another movie called Going Ape with 3 orangutans and Danny DeVito, or is it 4 right now? And I did this movie, right?
Yeah.
I want you to know that 2 of the movies I'm with the same monkey. I walk on the set, the monkey knows me. Hey, Tony, how are you? I swear, it's incredible. And I want you to know, I didn't forget you, good John. I brought you the Cannonball Run belt buckle, and it's signed by Hal Needham. Okay.
Excuse me.
You said it.
Thanks.
You're welcome,
I
sir.
collect buckle. That's great. Thanks very, very much.
I thought of you, you know.
Yeah, I
You thought of
appreciate
me,
that.
I thought of you. Hey.
Now, was this a film that Mr. Sinatra came down on? And
Oh, yes. I forgot about Frank. You know what's interesting is, you know, you die. You know, I want to meet Sinatra so long. You know, I'm like a frustrated Frank Sinatra. And I have a son.
I can't imagine Frank Sinatra being frustrated.
No, it's true. You know, Johnny Carson asked me the greatest question of all time one time. He said, hey, Frank, who do you put on when you want to make out? You know, you ever think of that? Who does he put on? Who does he put on? But anyway, Frank Sinatra is there, you know. He's on the movie. Of course, he only comes one day. He does his stuff and he leaves. But he's there, and I showed up and I had my son with me. My 12-year-old, Mark. Hello, Mark. I'm on the Tonight Show. And he was like, you know, my son is also like a big Sinatra fan. We had just seen him the 21st when he was at the amphitheater, and he was great. I mean, the guy is really a legend. He is the champ. And my son is like the only kid that can sing the Galley Got Away by heart at 12, you know? This kid he's really into it. So he is Frank Sinatra on the set, you know? So I sidle over, you know, and make my move. He's by himself. Mr. Sinatra, I'm Tony Danza. He goes, the kid from Taxi? He's like, wow, boy. That's great. Okay. Now I'm on a roll. See, he knows who I am. Okay. Now what happened? We start talking. I introduced my son, and my son is just, you know, enamored. What he did, Sinatra did something. You ever see if you go to a Sinatra concert, he leads the band, you know, he's got his back to the audience, and he leads the band, and he's leading the band, and then he cuts them off. Anyway, he cuts them off, and the band stops, like, right on the money, you know, like Montegiovanni couldn't have done it better. Stopped it. And he turns around, I know I said that, he turns around to the audience and he goes, eh? You know, and it was great. Like, look what I could do. So my son, of course, has to do this for Sinatra. I want to kill the kid. So he does it for Sinatra. Sinatra, of course, you know, I mean, I guess for Sinatra it was great. A 12-year-old, he's been around a while. There's a 12-year-old, and he's a fan, too. So then Sinatra, he's got Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, Dean Martin, Jilly, and Hal Needham, and they're all arm in arm like this, you know, and the still photographers are going crazy after the scene. And my son gets the bright idea to run around and take a picture of Sinatra and the group, you know. I got my 35 millimeter. Anyway, he runs around. And by the time he gets there, though, they're breaking it up. So Sinatra sees him there, and he holds everybody. So, hold it, guys. Go ahead, Mark, get the picture. And then he says, you got the picture, Mark? Yeah. And then he dismissed everybody, you know. So my son comes back around, and Sinatra's standing there. Sinatra sort of stands tall. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, my son comes up to his stomach, and he looks up at him, and he says, it was a joy to meet you. And he sort of bends his head, and he puts his arms around Sinatra like this. And Sinatra sort of like envelops him and says, it was a joy to meet you, too. And I'm standing there looking for a photographer, man.
Folks, we'll be right back. Pretty great. Thanks. All right, guys. You were a professional boxer?
Yeah, I had a few fights.
Did you win any?
I won 12, in fact.
Really?
All by knockout. I lost 3. I had 15 fights. So.
Yeah?
Yeah, I wasn't the best. I was a pretty good middleweight.
How did you get in the show business then?
They saw me fighting one night. I got knocked down twice in the first round, and I was looking for the referee to stop it. Where is this guy? But I got up, and the only reason why I know about this is because I saw the film, because I really wasn't there. I was sort of walking around, but I took a terrible beating, and with like 15 seconds left, and still the same first round, I nearly got with the right hand, and he can't get up, and I win the fight. And there happens to be this guy from NBC there, and he gets me a screen test. Next thing I know, I'm on Taxi. They gave me money to move. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
You missed boxing at all?
You know what it is? There's a lot of good guys around, but you become a better boxer when you don't have to worry about surviving, I think, you know. So, yeah, I miss it a little bit. I'm still in pretty good shape. I'm 32, though, so those days are over.
You still have your fighters?
Yeah, I got my fighter. You know, I got a fighter. See, Pam knows.
How did you know that?
We used to be neighbors. We worked next to each other in the Paramount Law.
That's what I said. We missed town. Mike the Duke DeLuca, the next cruiserweight champion of the world.
Coming right at you. You have a fighter, Sarah?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a fighter?
No, I don't, actually.
Want one?
Do I need one?
I can get you a deal on a fighter. I want to say hello to my mom, my grandmother, and everybody else in Long Island.
And then we'll be right back. Your mom and who? I can't believe how quickly this hour goes here. It's a real privilege to have been able to be here on the Tonight Show again. I want to thank you, Sarah, for being with me, Pam, and Tony.
Thank you.
You know, you can get a little bit nervous sometimes about the kind of guests who might be available, who you can get, and our office had a chance to get a hold of the people that I would like to have, and I really appreciate very much your being my guest tonight. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I want to thank you folks, a great audience. And Mr. Carson will be back here next week. Some of his guests during the week are Angie Dickinson, Terry Garr, Mariette Hartley, Maureen Murphy, baseball's Bob Ucker, and Shelley West. Doc, I thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you. Mr. D. Cordova, Fred, thank you. Everybody, good night. God bless you all.
A rich and beautiful woman is haunted by the specter of the madman who is determined to kill her. Barbara Eden and Robert Vaughn star in The Woman Hunter. Next on the Saturday Night Movie.
Good to see you again. I mentioned before you came out here, you're taking a rather ambitious tour. 50 cities in the country, over 50?
Well, yeah, that's a good one. When I was a little bit younger, I did one once. We did 125 concerts in 100 cities, and I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, that takes a lot out of you, doesn't it?
Yes, sir, it does.
Yeah, and you open here tomorrow at the Greek
Theater.
and then Saturday night.
Yep.
We have a mutual love, as Ed does too, flying. You have got more hours than I have. You are licensed
Yes, sir.
jet pilot and so forth?
Yep.
Tell me about the biplane you have. That's fascinating.
So I have a 1931 Waco.
That's a biplane, two-seater?
Yeah. Two-seater, open cockpit, and it's the sexiest airplane you've ever seen. And it's like, it's an old tail dragger, and you can just kind of cruise along about 100 miles an hour and wave at people on the tractor down there, and there's somebody, caught anything? And it's great.
That's real flying. That's real flying, isn't it?
I love it. Land in the field over here someplace and pull your camp set out of the back end. And
do you go out and put the gum under the wing like Spencer Tracy used to do?
I haven't done that yet.
For good luck. I don't know. I always liked that. They'd go out and say, what are you doing? That's for good luck, Joe. They take it up and the plane falls apart. I don't Have you ever had a near... anything,
the close thing that happened for me, I was doing a television show with the Muppets. I had all the Muppets up in the Rocky Mountains on a camping trip. And this one thing we were doing together, I took Rolf the dog for a biplane. He had hiccups. And I said, Rolf, I can get rid of these hiccups for you. And so we did a whole thing where I went and did some acrobatics. And coming back from this one shoot, we were about 5 miles from the airport out over Buttermilk. And I pulled the engine back and lost the engine.
You just cut out.
Well, it was stuck in idle. The rod that goes up to the engine to the throttle had broken at idle. So it was an idle. I couldn't do anything about it, and I called the airport. I had an emergency landing, and they said, pick a runway, and there's only one in Aspen. I don't know why they said that.
That was a good one to pick, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I came in and landed it, and taxied to a stop over here on the side of the runway, got out, and got very excited.
Yeah, that's you just glided it in.
Well, yeah, I had no problem and was no panic or anything, just getting it in. But afterwards, that's when it all hit me. Boy, I could hardly walk.
I had a wonderful landing once when I was learning to fly, and I just got my solo license, and I took my 3 sons up to show off.
Oh, boy.
And I landed at Teterboro, New Jersey, a little Cessna 172. Yeah. And a crosswind came up across the runway, and I wasn't really used to that. Yeah. And rather than kind of putting a little more power on, I just started to drift off the runway. And there's grass there. And they have these runway lights, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you have this piano sitting out here for a reason.
Well, the thought was another song, and I have an absolutely brand new song, just a couple weeks old, if you'd like to hear it.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
I think the last time I was on the show, I played the piano. It's not improved any since then, Johnny. Forgive me. But as I said, a brand new song, my friend Joe Henry and I. It's called A Wild Heart Looking for Home. Life in the city gets all closed in when you stand in a crowd all alone, wishing that someone would call out your number, hoping that someone might phone. nights in the city can drive you crazy. So very much going on. Try to get quiet. You'll miss out on something, like someone who's looking for someone who's looking there. I almost got caught again, lost in the night all alone, with nowhere to hide, crying inside, a wild heart looking for home. Sleeping without you is always cold. The nights are so dark and so long. Dreaming of touching your face in the moonlight, filling the silence with song. Living without you, the days are endless, the clock winding steadily down. Imagining footsteps, your hand at the gate post, the wind shuts the open door, the wind shuts the open door. There, I almost got caught again, lost in the night all alone, with nowhere to hide, crying inside, a wild heart looking for home. Songbird, she trembles all day long. She sings as if her poor heart must break, watching the freedom that flies past her window, dreaming won't fit in a cage. Fly away, songbird, the wind still loves you. Your prison is forsaken at last. Follow your dreaming, you're bound up to heaven. You're reaching for something more, reaching for something more. There, I almost got caught again, lost in the night all alone, with nowhere to hide, crying inside, a wild heart looking for. And there I thought of your face again, a vision to have and to hold. My spirit still sings, I'm flying again, a wild heart looking for home, a wild heart looking for